Guess what I bought us?
Nicky, where did you come from?
I'm sorry, Thomas. I just wanted to surprise you with a surprise.
Okay. What have you got this time?
Guess who bought us tickets to the next Queen concert?
No way! How did you manage to afford those?
Let's just say I've been saving up pocket money for the past 4 months.
Well, can I see the tickets?
Yeah, sure.
Nicky, you idiot! These are these tickets to the Bohemian Rhapsody movie that's currently playing in every theatre. You were saving £25 for 4 months?
I may have spent a good amount on an electric guitar. Anyways, when did Queen had a concert nearby us last?
Oh, that's a good point. Let's get going anyway. Hello and welcome to the Bohemian Rhapsody review, and who the hell are you?
I am the average reviewer, SuperBat, aka Thomas.
Now, as you can see, yes, we're in full costume today, like full Freddie. You can choose anything, like average reviewers dress up as Brian.
I forgot to bring my guitar, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, we used to be in a band. We actually used to play a couple of Queen songs in our cover band as well.
That was quite ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, it's very ironic. Why the bloody hell are you here?
Well, you invited me to do it.
I did, didn't I? So, the Bohemian Rhapsody review. So, this is the true story about Freddie Mercury, you know.
Glossed over version.
Yeah, glossed over version. And this one is being portrayed by Robbie Malek, who does a fantastic job with the full, obviously, saying.
He actually looks like a Freddie Mercury.
He does, like...
So does Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah, we'll actually talk about that. We'll talk about that in a minute, about Sacha Baron Cohen as Freddie Mercury. But let's go on to Robbie Malek, because he really looked like the part. He really did a really good job. Became Freddie.
He was in the X-Men before, you say?
No, not him. It was the actor that played Roger Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Roger Taylor played X-Men at one point.
Yeah. The actor that played Roger Taylor played Archangel in X-Men. So just a little bit of knowledge. But what's your overall thoughts on him as Freddie Mercury?
The first thought when I finished watching the whole movie, the first 2 words I thought was fucking amazing.
Yeah, this whole movie lies on this performance as well. It really lies on his performance as, you know, this character, because Freddie Mercury, he was he was Queen.
Yeah.
You know, Brian May, Roger Taylor, and the bassist, John Deacon. I just keep on calling him the bassist because I keep on forgetting his name. But, they were great. They were great guitarists. They were great musicians, but it was Freddie. Freddie was Queen.
Yeah, he's the larger-of-life character.
Yeah, exactly.
What made the movie.
But they don't really shy away from his flaws as well.
Yeah.
They don't shy away from his flaws, but this whole movie is Lyman's performance. We should probably talk about the production of the movie, because this movie went through a hell of a production.
10 bloody years of pre-production.
10 years of pre-production. And the reason why it took so long is because, of course, Brian May, he pronounced on the BBC that, yes, there will be a movie that will be made of Queen. And, you know, that sounds fantastic. Queen is a very interesting band. You know, their history is very interesting. I'd love to see a movie made by them. Originally, Sacha Baron Cohen was in line to play Freddie Mercury. And also to produce and also co-write it as well. So that would have been... I would have loved to have seen that. Would you have loved to have seen that?
Yeah, definitely. Because Sacha Baron Cohen was one of my early favourite actors.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor. And he really looks the part as well.
And I suppose, Sacha Baron Cohen's performance as Bruno, he's also a gay character.
Yeah.
And maybe that, in a way, he could sort of reflect Bruno into Freddie, but they're sort of 2 different types of gay, if that's supposed. I don't know. Sorry if I did offend. But
we're not anti-gay. You know? As you can see, I'm accepting all the gay stuff here. So
Hello, Mr. P.
Freddie loves his cats.
Yeah, to be honest, I think Sacha Baron Cohen would done it as an equally as good job.
He does look like him as well. Like, I mean, you could put like pictures side by side of those two.
That Photoshop you sent me.
Yeah.
You probably could like quickly show your viewers.
Yeah, I'm showing them right now actually. But that was something I would really love to see, and because he had a lot of creative control into it, he did say to the Queen that. I have an idea, and like so did Queen, and they were like, and Sacha Baron Cohen said, "What's your idea?" And he says, "Well, what we're going to do is we're going to have Freddie die at the middle of the movie." He was like,
"What?"
Okay, so sort of like Pulp Fiction, where the end is the middle and the middle is the end. It's like, okay, that's a wild movie. It's like, no,
we're
normal
getting into
movie.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, the Quentin Tarantino directing it. It's like, okay, so and they're like, no, normal movie. And they're like, okay, so wait, what happens in the second half of the movie? He says, well, we see how the band carries on from strength to strength. And he's like, no one wants to see that. Nobody wants to see the main character die of AIDS in the middle of the movie and then you progress on with another story. It's like, that's just not going to happen.
I was actually quite emotional when they'd start talking, when the movie focused on the AIDS part.
Yeah. And also there was also like a lot of like directors and screenwriters leaving. Like originally David Fincher was going to direct it, the director of The Social Network and also Gone Girl, like he was in line to direct it. And he dropped out due to creative differences. There was a lot of creative differences in that. And then Bryan Singer wasn't then signed on who directed the X-Men movies.
I was saying to you on the bus, like as you told me Bryan Singer was gay, wasn't he?
He is, yeah, he is.
And I think maybe that is showing in his directing. Maybe he has like a personal experience of being bullied and social isolation.
Yeah.
Maybe he saw that. Hey, Freddie Mercury went through the same thing as me.
Yeah, so like that does bring out a bit of a that does actually bring out like a bit of a credit, but also like even though Bryan Singer was signed on to the director, apparently he was also fired from the project. And they also got a new director. And I will say, they do use both takes. Did you ever feel like that it was direct? No. Did you ever feel like that you noticed?
No,
I never felt
it wasn't like
either.
a solo story where...
No, you just noticed like, Lord and Miller and...
The inconsistencies.
Yeah, it was very... But with this one, like, it never felt like it was directed by two people. It felt like it was directed by one person, one crew, and it's a great movie in all general. There are a few subjects I would have liked them to tackle. I would have liked them to tackle a little bit more of his bisexuality.
Yeah.
Because we do focus a lot on his relationship with Mary Austin.
Yeah, I think that's... Of all the relationships, it's just Mary Austin and... his gardener boyfriend, so whatever it was, sorry,
Jim Hudson.
Jim Hudson. I remember the name earlier.
Yeah, I know. We're sort of like back and forward a bit.
They focused on it lightly.
Yeah. Well, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of his relationship with Jim Hudson. Because we don't really see that. Like Jim kind of like comes and goes, and then he comes again. Like you have one scene with him and Freddie, and it's a really good scene as well. And I was like, okay, I'm interested to see how it goes. And then he just disappears from the film, and then he doesn't come until like the end of the movie. The movie was really convincing, pretty much throughout the whole thing. Yeah, it really convinced you. Especially at the end, you would understand why. I don't want to spoil it. But... No, of course not. I mean, it's a true story, so I guess like. It's not really counting as spoilers if we spoil something. If you know Queen's history, you're gonna know what this movie is. Yeah, this movie's definitely made for Queen. Definitely made for the Queens. Talking about history, though, the timeline is not that accurate. It's sort of like he didn't have the mustache when he did "We Will Rock You." He didn't. The music video. He didn't. Yeah. Like you can even check like interviews as well before like when he was in the process. It's like 1980s when he got the bit, the moustache. Yeah, it was like YMCA. Yeah, around when that time was popular and all that. But no, there were a few times where that inconsistency. I suppose like to a really super Queen fan, that would be a really big nitpick. Beyond nitpick. Yeah, definitely. But like I think for the average person who likes Queen, who's got like a moderate sort of a strong taste to it, they're gonna love the movie and not really notice that. There was never really a moment in this film where I felt bored. There was never a moment. Like the movie is very high energy. Like it has so much energy. Like it just keeps on going. But that's also another thing that, I think, that I think most movies should do. Like, there's just so much energy. I mean, the emotional movements do keep emotional, but they don't really, slow down the movie at all. It just keeps on going. Like, it doesn't. And because Queen is just such, it's just such, they're such such an energetic band, that's kind of what you wanted. You want, to see Queen be, where they are, the songs as well,
I appreciate them choosing actual Queen music.
I do as well.
We know that up and coming Elton John movie is going to have its own version of music.
I feel like that's probably going to be Terry Edgerton singing, because he actually can sing.
Yeah.
I do appreciate, because the thing about Freddie Mercury is that Freddie Mercury had one of the most, it's very hard to top him or to even be on the level with him.
You can't duplicate it.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, they did get a duplicate at one point, and I think they really searched really hard to find a duplicate of Freddie. But I do admire them putting Freddie's vocals in the movie as well, because and I do also give credit to the actor for also being accepted of that. Be like, yeah, it's not my performance, it's Freddie's performance, and that's something I really.
And the movie also manages to be funny.
It does. It has some very funny moments, particularly with Mike Myers. I mean, it's great having Mike Myers in the movie.
You can hear him just break into Shrek.
At one point, you can hear him trying to do a Scottish accent.
No, Bohemian Rhapsody in my swamp.
In fact, this was so funny, his character, because he's the character that says no one will bang their head to Bohemian Rhapsody in a car, and then later on in his life, Mike Myers bangs his head to a car to Bohemian Rhapsody.
They did that on purpose. So.
Yeah, it's great having Mike Myers in Bohemian Rhapsody, because with Wayne's World, that was the second time it hit the charts before when it got #1. So it's really great having Mike Myers in the movie. He's not in it for long, but the times that he is in it, it's pretty cool.
Before I went in the cinema, I thought it was just going to be an average, copy, sort of a glossed over. I did gloss over, okay.
Yeah.
But I think the movie sort of blew my expectations. I was actually thought we were going to have a good time, not a great time, a good time, but we had a great time instead.
We did, yeah. It was a very fun time. People are saying that Robbie Malek might be nominated for an Oscar. I wouldn't really be surprised if that was the case, but I think because most of it was Freddie's vocals, then Robbie Malek's the singing. I don't really know if he would be. Again, I wouldn't be disappointed if he was, but I'm just saying. I'm just thinking realistically.
I think it would deserve a BAFTA.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The British BAFTA. It's not Oscar. That's from Hollywood type, isn't it?
Well, this is a Hollywood type movie, so
yeah, it probably has a Hollywood budget, maybe.
Yeah, but of course it does. But if you look at the band in general in this movie, they really look like the band. There was no way. There was no way I was guessing. That was Freddie. That was Brian. That was Roger. That was John. There was no. I remembered his name. There was no.
John.
Yeah, John Deacon. Everyone disses the basses. The basses are very important. But no, there was no doubt in my movie that I felt these were the guys. They were phenomenal in this movie. They really were.
Now, there's one particular person I want to talk about is Paul.
Yes, he's the villain of the story.
Yeah, he's the Thanos for Queen.
Yeah, you're gonna take that, Brian. Take that, Roger. Take that, Deacon. The quiet one.
Right. So basically, Paul, he's sort of manipulative.
Yeah, he's very manipulative and controlling of Freddie's life.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of the one that, even in reality, he was the bad guy of the story. He was even when they were doing Queen,
a bad influence for Freddie.
He was a very bad influence for Freddie and also for the other band's members as well. So, but yeah, he was He was a very bad influence from Freddie.
I think, to be honest, that was another really good performance out of the actors.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is, but I'd probably say he probably worth as a good support actor, maybe.
Yeah, he was a very good supporting actor. I would probably say the actor who played Brian May might be nominated for an Oscar because he was very good.
The movie throughout is very convincing.
Absolutely.
Especially with Live Aid. They've got...
Yes. Oh my god, like, we need to talk about that.
They recreated it.
Yeah, they really did that fucking research on that scene, on that, like, Live Aid. They really did that research on Live Aid.
Yeah, it's so down to detail.
Very, very...
On the actual Live Aid movie, in 1980, where before Freddie Mercury plays Bohemian Rhapsody, he reaches over to some, like, contraction with a volume or something.
Just, like, little details like that. It's like, you know, and... Even getting like the full, I mean, of course, they didn't get like, you know, every single song in there because there's so much you can actually do in that time. Not every single detail was in there, but no, getting that concert, the research they did do, and like what they showed, like, damn, like they really did their research on it. And Robbie Malek, you know, steals that scene.
I think that 10 years of research has really paid off.
Yeah, really paid off. Well, he was only really just. You know, he was just cast as a movie, but he really did his research. Even if you look at him in interviews, like, he's just talking, like, you know, he knows his Freddie Mercury stuff. He knows his stuff about this movie.
I don't know what else to talk about. The cinematography, what do you think of that, Thomas?
I mean, I'm glad that he was never, like, there was never, like, a moment that I didn't notice what was going on.
Yeah.
It was very colourful as well. It was very colourful.
I think that's, when you go to a concert, there is always a lot of bright lights.
Yeah. But even when there wasn't a concert going on, like, there was just, like, so much, there was, like, a lot of, like, you know, there was just a lot of colour in there, like, it was a very colourful movie.
Yeah.
And then, the cinematography, I like it that there wasn't too much shaky cam, like, everything was noticeable. I noticed every single little detail, what was going on. And that was actually pretty nice. That was pretty nice.
You need, if you haven't seen that video where all these people submitted about 1,000 voices.
Yeah.
To recreate the audience in Live Aid. That you must check out that video.
Yeah, I'll actually put it in the link in the description. Actually,
it's pretty. So I think the production as a whole for this movie is really great.
The production is very good. Great performances from a lot of actors. Again, like, our problems with the movie are just details that seem really interesting. That they didn't
timeline.
Timeline, and also details that they didn't really focus on. Like, I would have liked to have seen Freddie's sexuality. I would have liked them to, like, focus a little bit more on the timeline. Again, and I did also have one other problem, was the ending. And now again, I'm satisfied with the ending being Live Aid. I'm satisfied with that ending. However, like, the movie's only like 2 hours and 10 minutes long. You could have actually done anything with that last 20 minutes. Like, maybe with that last 20 minutes, you could have have Freddie struggling with, you know, his AIDS.
Like a scale of, you know, when, who's that man who played? He went really skinny before he went Batman.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, like. Apparently when you have AIDS, you know, you lose a lot of weight.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
Skin goes funny.
And that's something that you saw in, like, you know, if you look at the video, Those Were the Days of My Life, you can really see he didn't look very well.
Jeez.
And,
Scarecrow-like.
Yeah, he was very scarecrow. But I would have liked, but after Live Aid, like, the band really wanted to get back together, and they did. And, like, ideas just popped in their head, and then... that was when they were performing I Want It All, and, like, you know, a bunch of other songs as well, and they really wanted to get back together, and so they just performed, like, a bunch of songs. And
I like it how Freddie Mercury learned his lesson, you know, before they play Live Aid, you know.
Yeah.
I think when a character learns in a very important moral, you can also learn from that as well, as a viewer.
It shows you not to make the same mistake that he did. Yeah. But again, like, most of my issues with the movies are just things that would have been interesting for them to touch on, just a little bit more. Like, maybe they could have, like, gotten the actor to lose a lot of weight for the for when Freddie Mercury
He died.
dies of AIDS. But again, that's just it's a very positive movie.
Yeah.
I would honestly recommend you go and see if you're a Queen fan or not a Queen fan.
Yeah.
I think we can give a rating of the movie. So, what would you give your rating?
Right. That's very difficult to me. I don't usually put a rating, but I would give it like a 9.
9.
Because, right, a 10 is just seriously do. You obviously were biased before you came in. Just 9. Oh, 8.5. I'm stuck between those because this movie does a lot of things right and it does some things wrong, which makes it a solid 9. Do you understand?
No, I understand what you're saying. No, you sort of
It's just the minor. As I know what history Queen had, that is probably affecting my.
So you just sort of the same things I said. You would like them to touch on a bit of details.
A little bit more detail. Maybe we'll make it a solid 9, but I think I'm going to stick with an 8.5 because
8.5.
I actually really enjoyed this movie.
I did.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you. I would have actually given it a 9. But there are details that I think they would have liked to have touched upon. I would have liked them to touch a little bit more on Freddie's sexuality. I would have liked them to see how Freddie struggles with his AIDS.
Yeah.
And I would have also liked to see more of what's his name, Jim Hudson. I would have liked to have seen more of that because
he played an important role before he died.
Yeah, he did. He was Freddie's. He was. Yeah, he was lover.
He's final.
Yeah. Anyway, I pretty much give it a review as well. I'll pretty much give it an 8.5 out of 10. I was very entertained with this movie. Robbie Malek is absolutely fantastic. Phenomenal. And apart from Sacha Baron Cohen, I can't really see anyone else playing him.
No. Honestly, no.
Yeah, he really does look like Freddie. The other crew member, the other cast do really well, and overall the production, while difficult, really showed the working. It was very colourful. It's very bright. It's it's just it's a wonderful movie. It's really good. It's very good.
Thank you for inviting me to your review.
Thank you for coming, man. I really appreciate you coming. Hopefully we will see more of you. We'll see. I don't know if you can see his face very well because of the wig.
I look like a bit like Tom.
There you go.
Oh my hair!
Alright, so what did you think of Bohemian Rhapsody? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment down below, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.